What's up, everybody? Dan and Dago here, checking in to read some promos. But first, I got to give you a quick update about my in-person encounter with Gilbert. Can you believe this guy came down, made the pilgrimage, 2 hours or so in traffic, came all the way to my house just to tell me he needs to wait, that I should pump the brakes on Justin Herbert, that he might regress in his second year. Can you believe this? Then he tells me over here Santa Claus isn't real, Easter Bunny, Cupid, take your pick. He's just crushing everybody's hopes and dreams out here. Who hurt you, Gilberto? Seriously, why are you the way that you are? But soon you'll always realize that you're wrong because Tim Tebow will be laughing in your face when he becomes a red zone threat and scores between 10 and 15 touchdowns. Evil laugh. Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to read that. Now I'll do it for real. Okay, now for the promo. But why waste my breath? By now, you guys have gotten the new Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. I said 4.0. But by some strange reason, if you haven't, let the Compas hook you up. You will get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code COMPAS at manscaped.com. So go get yourself a Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 and use the promo code COMPAS. Now, let's get the Compas on the beat.
Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I am Fernando Ramirez, Chargers beat reporter for Sports Illustrated, and with me, as always, the Rey Mysterio to my Eddie Guerrero, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano, Chargers beat reporter for the OC Register and LA Daily News. What's up, bro?
There it is. I was waiting for a little pause this time. I was prepared for last week, but you asked me the question. I'm going to answer for a change. You said, "What's up, bro?" You want to know what's up, Fernando? Me, this guy, I got it right when it came to Julio Jones not being a Charger. You call me a dream killer, but I'm not a dream killer. I'm just a truth teller, my man.
No. That's not, I don't call you a dream killer. You know who calls you a dream killer. That guy we had at the intro.
Don't say his name. Don't say his name.
Dan and Dago. He calls you a dream killer. I don't call you that. Hey, I didn't know that on this show, though. We do self-given golden stickers, like golden noodles. Like, you turn your card to purple today. Like, but, I mean, hold on there, though. We'll talk about Julio in a little bit because we have a great show with great guests. One of our top compas, Mr. Omar Ruiz from the NFL Network, will be joining us. We had this in the works, Gilbert. You and I had talked about it. We were like, hey, we got to get Omar on. This is a must get, and he didn't disappoint. Then Gilbert catches up with Chargers tight end Tre McKitty for a one-on-one. You can find those times for the episodes below. Also, the show times will tell you exactly when we'll have our intense Julio Jones debate. And also, feel free to comment. We have fun with some of these comments. It's funny. Somebody on the Eckler video said, yeah, Austin Eckler must love you guys, but Tom Telesco must hate you. And I'm like, Tom doesn't hate us. Tom loves us. I think Tom loves us. But hey, that's just what fans do. But yeah, tell us how you feel about the Julio Jones trade. Tell us anything. But first, let's talk about food. Gilbert and I got to try the concession stand food that will be sold at SoFi Stadium this season. Gilbert, what did you think?
Man, you got my ears going. You said food, and like I'm just I don't know.
You don't eat breakfast.
And then you said, yeah, I don't, but I eat a lot after like noon to whatever. But then you said SoFi Stadium food. I was like, wait, I kind of have mixed emotions about the food there. I don't know, man. Like I started the show saying I'm a truth teller, and I don't want SoFi Stadium to kick me out, but. Okay, you know how for the fight Mayweather-Logan Paul, you had to focus on the word. No, let me just say so. Focus on the word exhibition. So I'm gonna focus on the word concession stand. So it's concession stand food at SoFi Stadium. So let's not get carried away. So
but that made me nervous for the media food.
Okay, then I'll complain for reals. But has some wiggle room. Concession stand food at SoFi Stadium. It was better than just hot dogs and burgers and nachos. There was, pizzas and something called a cheeseburger sub. Fernando, I think
that's the Jeff Miller sub.
Yeah, we should start with the Jeff Miller sub because I feel like that's what the questions we got the most. So let's start with you. How do you feel about the cheeseburger sub at SoFi Stadium?
I didn't try it because that just looked like a.
You didn't try it? I didn't even notice that.
No, because I told you it had pickles, it had mustard, like, and I even asked them like, "Hey, can I get it like plain?" And they were like, "No, sorry." I'm like, "Okay, cool, like then I'm good." I didn't try it, but I mean, I saw you like scarfing that thing down, so it must have been pretty good.
Okay, start with me then, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That was actually the first thing I tried because it was the most popular item because it was so strange and weird. And you think about it, it's not that weird. It's just a cheeseburger in the sub.
It looks like
bread.
a foot long hamburger cheeseburger.
Yeah, dude, like the way I grew up, it's a struggle meal. You kind of make things together. Whatever's in your cabinet, you get it. Some pan bimbo and put some butter and sugar. That's the way I kind of approach it. It's a struggle meal, but the one thing that we still don't know is the prices. So if this cheeseburger sub is like $20, I'm not paying for that. It's more like I'll say $8 to $10 range burger. I made a joke and called it gas station food. And then sometimes you're if it's more, okay, I'm pushing it. $12 is the most. It's pretty big.
You would have failed on Prices Right. Drew Carey would have kicked your ass out.
Look, I'm just hoping because for the quality, it's not more than $12. It's not more than $8 for sure. But
bro, if a soda's $5.
I know, but think about it. Like, say you're going like you're going up to Las Vegas, a big road trip. You get some quick food, and you don't care. You're there to enjoy whatever is on the field, the Chargers or the Rams, the other team. You can say that sometimes, but you go and just eat your food. But the cheeseburger sub wasn't that strange. It wasn't that bad, and for me, it depends on the price, but I kind of enjoyed it. But also, it was the first thing I tried, so I was really hungry, and maybe that could be why my opinion is not that bad of it.
You know what? I saw you scarf that down. What I tried first was the barbacoa burrito. That one was actually not bad. I remember Omar was like, "Oh, dude, that looks good." And I'm like, "It's actually not bad." And he goes and grabs one. And you had said that gas station food thing. And then Omar's like, "No, I think this is better than a gas station burrito." And I agreed with that. They had some like different sauce. I don't even know if that was a sauce for the burrito or the nachos, but I grabbed it and it was good on the burrito. So that sauce was really good. I thought the burrito was very good. That's one I definitely recommend. The fans, what did you think about the burrito? Is barbacoa, rice, cheese, and beans, fried beans.
I think the burrito was my second favorite behind the, what's it called? The
tsunami tots.
Yeah, tots. The tots were really good just because of the flavor and the seasoning. It tasted like Korean barbecue or some type of really good, Asian flavor that I really liked.
It was just missing meat. If it had meat in it, Korean barbecue steak or something like that. Chef's kiss.
John and Vinny, if you're fans of Compas on the Beat, you're listening to this, put some meat on the tater tots. You don't need my advice, but you guys are the experts. But anyways, the burrito was really good. The sauce was really good. The tater tots, were my favorite, and that was number 2. What else did they have? The thing, now I remember the thing for me I didn't really like was the pizza.
My God, dude. It's funny. If you guys follow Gilbert on TikTok or Instagram, he opens this pizza.
You're gonna call me out, huh?
Bro, it's not because I'm not calling you out. I just love the reaction on your face. He gets the pizza. He sees pepperonis are burnt. He looks over at me like a little kid who's like pissed off. I'm like, "Gilbert, would you like to use mine?" He's like, "Yeah, yours looks better." So he takes like a picture of it. But Gilbert's face was hilarious when he opens the pizza and sees it burnt. I can only take, and it's funny, this one I kind of treated it like El Prez's pizza reviews. I'm like, okay, open up the box, let me try it. I like bite from Barstool or whatever. I bite twice, and I was like, let me try a couple more bites. I couldn't get it. I don't know. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But hey, everybody can try their own thing, but I just wasn't a huge fan.
By the time I got to the pizza, I was very full, but I only got 2 bites because it wasn't good. Somebody asked me on Twitter, like, it looks very doughy. And you were right. It was all pretty much dough, a little bit of sauce, and then my pepperonis were burnt. You got the better pepperonis, man. Yours look way better. But if you're not liking it, then we don't like it, both of us. So the pizza wasn't that good. And it's kind of like disappointing because how can you mess up pizza? Like, we all love pizza. Exactly. And when you try it, you feel like you deserve something good.
Then I tried the Stromboli hot dog, the one that looked like a croissant.
Yeah.
I dip it in marinara sauce. I have one bite, and Gilbert turns around and looks at me, and I drop it to the ground. I'm like, no, No, thank you.
I
Like,
didn't even try that.
bruh, it was yeah. So I mean, and by this time we were full, but I mean, honestly, like it just wasn't what I expected. Um, I mean, TMI, but I had to run to the little boys' room right after. Like, it was a little bit of everything. I don't know. I'd probably give it a. Are we doing grades?
Sure, whatever.
I gave it a D plus.
Oh, you're not getting a credential this year at SoFi Stadium, man.
Why?
Because you're bashing the food.
I'm not gonna eat that food.
I will. I'm a sucker for free food, but because it was free, I have a different point of view. I'll give it a C, regular C,
I
passing grade.
mean, I'm just saying. But now let's move over to what we were talking about. Julio Jones.
Oh,
It was, I think, Sunday morning at like 8 in the morning. It's obviously, I think it was Ian Rappaport tweets out that the um the Atlanta Falcons had decided to send Julio Jones to the Tennessee Titans for a second round pick and a fifth year, not this year but next year. My first thought was, damn, how much do the starting two receivers and the starting running back weigh? Like, they're humongous. Like, all three players are huge. I think AJ Brown, I think
mhm.
he's 6'5", Julio 6'5", and Derrick Henry 6'3". Like, damn, like that's a lot. But Gilbert, what were your initial thoughts about the trade to the Titans, and what did you think about the move?
Well, I started the show saying that I was right about Julio Jones to the Chargers, and that's what I thought immediately was
But who were you right against? Like, I didn't say they were going to trade for him. I just thought this is
no,
a move that you make to help
yeah.
solidify yourself. But
In a previous show, you were more about saying they should make, and I was more
yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
this was really gonna happen. So I guess we
Oh,
got.
I know the reality. I'm not, I've been around too long. But what did you think about? I mean, does this make the Titans better? Does it? Because I think now they have two similar players,
Yeah,
jump
yeah.
ball kind of players.
Yeah, we could start with the tight ends, and I thought for them was a great get, and I think the biggest thing for the Falcons that really stood out to me was people really were like harping on the second round pick, like Julio Jones, one of the best wide receivers of all time, deserves a first round pick, you know. But for me, it was I think they were more worried about the contract. If a team picks up the entire contract, which I think the Titans did, and they that came out to be a victory for the Falcons. And I don't know, I don't see a team like the Chargers, giving up all their cap space when you already have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams on their contract for 2021, and you have other needs. So why be in a cap space issue when you don't need it right now? So I guess the Titans, needed it. They lost a lot of weapons in the offseason. And
Corey Davis.
I started forgetting about them. Like, okay, they're, it's just Derrick Henry and AJ Brown, and the defense is kind of struggling. Now you bring Julio Jones, and I know Ryan Tannehill gets overlooked a lot, but that guy had 40 touchdowns a year ago, and he was great, and he's done it for 2 years in a row. I know with the head coach or the new head coach for the Falcons, Arthur Smith, was calling the plays with the Titans, and he kind of left. It was like a trade for Julio and Arthur
Yeah,
Smith.
literally.
So you don't really know how it's going to be for the offense, but when you add Julio Jones, you think you'll be better. And I got to give credit for AJ Brown because that guy gets overlooked a lot, kind of like Keenan Allen when it comes to wide receivers. But AJ Brown is kind of like Julio Jones. Like you mentioned, they're massive. I know you can't really compare a guy to Julio Jones, but AJ Brown is a stud. So I think they'll be contenders in the AFC. Looking at the division real quick in my head, they should be the favorites to win that division, AFC South, because the Houston Texans are the Texans and the Titans.
What about Jacksonville?
Oh.
Who's down there?
Yeah, in my head I went Tim Tebow. No, who cares?
Do you want me to bring him over?
No, it's okay.
He's right there.
We'll get him eventually for like a one-on-one standoff. But overall, my quick Titans recap is they'll be good. They'll be contenders, and who knows? Maybe the Chargers are good too, and they could be a playoff match.
My only concern about the Titans is their defense was not very good last year. And I don't think they got better in the offseason. They ended up getting Caleb Farley with their first round pick. A lot of question marks on him. Malcolm Butler left. There's a lot of question marks when it comes to that defense. And I understand. I feel like they're one of those teams, like kind of like the Chiefs, that is just going to try and beat you by outscoring you. So that's going to be really interesting. They lost Jadeveon Clowney, which, I mean, that's questionable if you think Jadeveon Clowney is that good. I think it's a good move for the offense, but I just think you got two similar receivers now. You have Derrick Henry. You need some speed, and I wonder if the Titans are going to have some of that speed. But let me let me talk to you a little bit about why I thought the Chargers might make this move, Gilbert. Is that I've been around this team, like I said, for a long time, and I feel like some people get a little nervous if when a team makes it to the Super Bowl, there's always a move that is made to make it there. Last year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers picked up Antonio Brown. Regardless of how you feel about everything that's going on and everything.
You mean Tom Brady?
Well, no. Yeah. But I mean, during the season, like
Yeah,
you always
yeah.
have that one move that really helps spark it. They got Antonio Brown. Tom Brady, obviously huge. Gronkowski, huge. In years past, the Patriots always made a big move during the season to get them to elevate themselves. That's where I feel like Charger fans get a little nervous. Because Tom Telesco, and he's shown it, that he does not go out and make those big moves to kind of help you during the season if you need it. And I feel like that's where Charger fans get a little nervous. And I felt like this one was one where Charger fans were really hoping they would get Julio, bring him in, and just attack them. You attack the defense with everything that you have. I feel like that's where fans get nervous when it comes to Tom Telesco as a general manager, because he values draft picks. And I saw hold on, I got it right here, but I feel like that's been the one thing that gets Charger fans a little nervous about everything, is that will he make that big move when necessary? And we know Tom Telesco comes from Bill Polian's tree where they value draft picks. But Torrey Smith yesterday, I don't know if you saw this, or on Sunday, I don't know if you saw this tweet, but he said, "I will say this until the day I die: a proven player is better than any draft pick." I mean, covering the NFL now for a couple of years, I truly do believe that sometimes you have to go out there and risk it. And this is independently from whatever we're talking, like with Tom Telesco and everything. But I feel like there is times where you kind of need to go get that home run move to really finish off your team. And I'm not saying the Chargers are anywhere close to being a Super Bowl contender or anything, but I feel like this move would have really have helped them elevate into that next tier, especially when you're in a division with Kansas City, where Kansas City can outscore you at any moment. Denver's gotten better on their defense, and then Las Vegas is they're starting to get kind of put some moves together. They got Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs making some moves on defense, but that's why I thought. I mean, I didn't think the Chargers were going to get Julio Jones, but I think you need to start changing your mentality and start doing things differently, because we've already gotten 8 years of Tom Telesco. Things need to start changing a little bit, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I'll start by saying this, that, when it comes to trades, Tom Telesco hasn't been, as aggressive. Every now and then, he does really well when it comes to free agency. Like this year, he got, Corey Linsley, Ode Abushi, Matt Filer, and offseason, he's shown, he does, throw out some money to at least, give yourself a chance. But maybe you're right. He really values the draft picks, and you get that foundation. Like draft picks matter the most, I think, than veteran players. I know you got that quote there, because that's where you build your foundation. That's where you get your Justin Herbert, your Joey Bosa, your Keenan Allen. But yeah, you're right. But then when it comes to when you have that core, okay, now get some veteran guys, get some guys who've done it before. You see the holes that you have, and go and get aggressive. I agree on that part. But I'm going to try to go into maybe the Tom Telesco's point of view and guess why this wasn't really, why I didn't really feel that the Chargers were going to get Julio Jones, because, I'll start with the draft. If we've known that Julio Jones is going to be available because of June 1st or whatever, you wouldn't spend a 3rd round pick on Josh Palmer. You feel like, okay, there's a Julio Jones out there. Okay, now we can use that 3rd round pick on somebody else. But when Palmer came, you got really crowded already. Why would you keep adding more to it when you have other needs? And you have Keenan Allen, you have Mike Williams, and who knows what's going to happen with Mike Williams, because he has 1 year left. But at least you're flexible, knowing that, okay, we have Mike Williams, signing for this year. And with Julio, it's like there's 3 years, and you don't want to be stuck and say the contract doesn't work out. So that's another thing. And then the thing that I'm going to that might be a little, hot take is wide receivers are starting to become like running backs, man. Like running backs are becoming, forgotten when it comes to big money and paying them, because you could, draft one in the 5th round, 6th round, 7th round. You're kind of seeing it with wide receivers. A lot of the free agents didn't get paid wide receivers because they had to wait their turn. It was the linemen, the edge rushers, obviously the quarterbacks, but for some reason, wide receivers are being devalued now. And yeah, like Keenan Allen got his money the last year, but you're not one of the top, 5 to 10 wide receivers. there's a whole lot of wide receivers, and I feel like, maybe that's kind of the point of view, is like, don't spend all your money on wide receivers and running backs when you already have one paid in Keenan Allen.
No, yeah, but you understand the symbolism that I'm saying, right? Like, is like the symbolism isn't Julio Jones. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, will you go out and make that kind of move when you know you need it? I mean, I'm not saying, like, I really didn't think he would go out and get Julio just because of like you said, the contract. They're gonna have a lot of cap space free next year. I think they're gonna have 50 million at this point. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if they're gonna try and free up other to get up the salary cap, and that's what I've given Tom Telesco credit on. Look at all the teams. Like, the Saints had to dump a lot of players this year. A lot of teams had to dump a lot of players. Chargers didn't because they were in a good financial cap space. I'm not really going towards a Julio Jones because, like you said, they drafted Josh Palmer. They got some other players. My thing is the symbolism. Like, will Tom Telesco, at the end of the day, like, when they need something, will he go out and make that move or not? And that's the only question I have. And I'm not even saying yes he will or no he won't. That's just my question when it comes to him. And I mean, obviously it's up for interpretation, but that's my question. It's not the Julio Jones thing. I just thought if they added Julio Jones, well, you can put him on a pitch count. You don't need him playing 50, 60 snaps a game. You can have him playing 25. You're going to pay him a little bit of that money, but hey, maybe out of those 25, he gets you a touchdown, he gets you a big play, stuff like that. But I understand what you mean. I didn't think they were going to get him, but I'm just saying the symbolism of it is, when the time is necessary, will he make that move to improve his team? And that's the only question I have when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, put it this way before we move on to the next topic is, every time with the Chargers, there's always, I hate to say always, but it's often a big injury in training camp, and that's where you feel like Tom Telesco is not aggressive. Like, you go to the next man up, the backup, the third stringer, and when you see some free agents out there, like, these guys could really help you, and it won't hurt your season. Maybe that's where you kind of want that symbolism. Is like, if something happens this training camp, somebody big time gets hurt, that extra money that you have, that cap space that you wanted so valuable, use that money. Get a free agent that's still out there, and don't rely on somebody inexperienced and undrafted rookie. So I think for me, that's where he'll probably get a chance to show it. Hopefully he doesn't, because that means the team is healthy.
Yeah.
But if there's another injury, and Fernando, you've covered the team many years, there usually is one big one, and that's where they kind of maybe settle a little bit.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's going to be the interesting part to see what he does. I mean, I understood last year when Derwin goes down, you don't want to get Earl Thomas. I mean, we all knew some of the stuff going on behind the scenes, so I
Mm-hmm.
understood that. But, like, there's other opportunities to go out and get different guys. One of the guys that I had really, like, I wrote an article about early on in free agency was, hey, why not go get a guy like Tony Jefferson coming off an ACL tear? He's from San Diego. Put him at strong safety, and then just have Derwin all over the field. And the thing is, Tony's a very good tackler. Like, he's a sure tackler. So, Chargers don't, like, besides Derwin, there's no sure tackler in the safety at the safety position. So that's why I thought you bring in Tony Jefferson, you play him at strong safety, and then you just have Derwin all over the field doing his thing. That's why I'd said they still need and fans were like, why are you saying they need a safety? Because you don't know where Derwin's going to play. He's going to be all over the field. Ronaldo said that. Brandon said that. Derwin has even said that. So I just thought it'd be a good move. Tony Jefferson, congrats to him. He signed with the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm glad. It was a nasty. I think he had an ACL, MCL, and all those L's, like the MCL, ACL, all that stuff. So it's good to see him back. That he's going to be back back in an NFL on a football field. But somebody that got back into the ring was Floyd Money Mayweather. He fought Logan Paul. It's funny because when I hear people talk about it, ESPN and all they're saying Jake, they're saying Logan. They really, it's funny. Logan's the one with that has no tattoos. Jake is the one with the tattoos. Logan's a little bit quieter. Jake is the louder mouth one.
Logan's taller. That's the way I remember.
Logan's taller. Yeah. So it was interesting. I mean, Gilbert, you're the boxing expert. I'm going to let you take this one. What did you think?
Okay.
Oh, look at that smile. Look at that smile. Look at that smile.
I was really hoping Floyd Mayweather would knock him out, so there won't be any debate that Mayweather won this exhibition. I mean, it's weird because there was no official winner. There was no judges, no scorecard. And yes, it's an exhibition. But Twitter, social media, whatever kids are using nowadays, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, all that. It's like, well, Mayweather didn't knock out Logan Paul. Logan Paul won that fight because he survived. I'm like, Really? Like, there's a debate here. He survived.
Bro, Jake Paul was giving us from the sideline. He was giving us his scorecard.
He had the Homer Simpson glasses on. Like, that's my brother, so he won every freaking round. That made me laugh. But
and then he tweeted that out last night. My brother just beat Floyd Money Mayweather,
and that's why I really wanted a knockout, to not have any debate. But and also it shouldn't be too surprising, because you saw the size difference. Like, it's in boxing, like, weight matters. If you're much bigger, you can sustain blows and you won't get dropped. I know Logan Paul is not a real boxer, so maybe that point of view doesn't really matter. But if you watch the fight for 8 rounds, Mayweather was giving him a beating. Maybe Logan Paul won the first one because it was a feel out round, but after that, it was just, let Logan get tired. I mean, he got really tired by the 3rd round. He went viral on Twitter for, like, he was like leaning over on the ropes and he couldn't stand up. And he just, after a while, he was just hugging. He couldn't keep up. And it was just Mayweather kind of picking his spots to do the lead right or a counter punch. And credit to Logan, he took every punch. He didn't fall. But I'm sure he woke up the next day and very tired and sore. But hey, it was a typical Mayweather fight. He picked you apart with a counter shot, defense. Mayweather never rushes a punch. He never rushes for a knockout. He waits for you to get tired, and then he'll pick you apart. And even Logan took a good amount of body shots. So I think it was kind of cool to see Mayweather in the ring again. And I'm like, oh, how is he going to beat this really massive giant dude who has like 5 inches on him and like 40 pounds? And to credit Mayweather, he did chop him down. He got tired. He was hugging. Credit to the referee also. He was breaking him up pretty often. I like that. Overall, besides the no knockout, I can't complain. I was entertained, and it was good to see Mayweather back in the ring, one of the best of all time. And the one thing I really liked about Mayweather, he wasn't saying 51-0. He was saying exhibition. It's okay if you don't like the fight. It's okay if you don't pay for the fight. But he's an entertainer. He's a business guy. So let's stop getting mad about you're a big time boxing fan saying I hate this, I hate YouTubers, they're ruining the sport. It's an entertainment. It's a show. It's a show in Vegas that you like to go to. Circus LA and all that. So it's not real boxing. And if you get that, then you're entertained.
Is that boring fight over yet? Oh, my bad.
I probably spoke 8 rounds.
No. I thought the fight was well, we'll get into that in a little bit, but I think Floyd is the ultimate. I think he learned a thing or two in WWE when he fought the Big Show in 2008. And you know what? Can we just talk about the commentary for a second? The commentary was awesome. Like when Jake Paul said, "Oh, my brother's up," one of the guys goes, "No, he's not. He's not up." I was like, dude, this is hilarious. And Mauro obviously was with WWE for a little bit. I thought he was incredible. I love when he goes, "Mamma mia." I think he's a good announcer, but I thought the fight was very boring. I thought it was very like I could see them talk to each other like WWE-esque, when guys are about to do moves. So that had me questioning a couple of things. Floyd looked old, and I know he's old, but I don't know. I just thought he looked older. There was one where I don't know if you've seen this clip, but like he hits Logan Paul. Logan Paul's about to fall, and he picks him. Like Floyd hugs him to make sure that he doesn't fall to the ground and like knock him out or whatever. And now I'm hearing like, and I knew what was going to happen. If Logan won the distance, everybody's going to be praising him. Floyd praised him. Like, I was like, why are you praising him after the fight? Like, talk a little crap. Like, what is going on? So, I mean, I had a lot of questions after the bout. My biggest question was, and they asked Floyd last night, are you going to fight his brother? Well, I don't know what I'm going to do. He said he's never coming back to boxing. So I think it's going to be exhibitions from here on out. But to me, I thought that hat segment, they were setting it up for him to possibly fight Jake Paul. Yeah. But now I don't think Floyd wants to do that. I think Jake is the crazier one. I think Jake would do some crazy crap in the ring. And I don't think Floyd's going to take that. But to me, it was boring. Like I was watching the Mexico game on one screen and I was watching the fight in the other. I found myself watching the Mexico game more than I did the fight just because I thought it was the same stuff. Like Logan got a couple of shots in. Floyd did his thing where he goes up, bang, bang, backs up, bang, bang, backs up, bang, bang. And I mean, it's thought
the Mayweather way, man. If he's done it for the last 25 years.
Well, and the thing is, he has arthritis. I think in both. He
doesn't have a lot of power.
Yeah. So I mean, I understood what I got. I mean, do I want to see him back in the ring again? I don't think there's anybody I would really want to see him. Did you see Canelo's tweet?
Yeah. It was a face palm, but I wasn't sure it was about Mexico losing or for the fight.
No, it was for the fight because the
Okay.
Mexico game still had another
Okay.
2 hours
Okay.
on it. My question is though, why don't we have a redheaded? Why can't he have a redheaded face palm? He had to put blonde. He didn't blonde, but I really don't think. I think a lot of people they didn't like it. They didn't like the level of it, and I feel like this now gives Jake Paul and Logan Paul a little bit more of a mouthpiece to go out there and talk crap. So, guys out there, boxing fans, the Pauls ain't going anywhere. Thanks to last night, I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. To be honest.
No, and people are paying for them. We're talking about it right now. So there's an audience, and I wrote a story in the LA Daily News Orange County Register about
Check
like,
it out.
yeah, and people might hate it. Hardcore boxing fans really hate it, but like, when's the last time you had, YouTubers and TikTokers and kids under, 24 years old liking boxing? Like, I've talked to people saying like, hey, I watched Jake Paul fight Ben Askren. Now I like boxing. Now I watched Canelo. Now I'm gonna watch Tyson Fury against Wilder. I'm gonna watch Manny Pacquiao against Earl Spence. So, and it's kind of a little funny seeing Showtime bring in I'm forgetting the guy's names from the commenters, the Seuss and Merrill.
Oh yeah.
To bring them on because they saw Triller do that with their broadcast. Their announcers were funny, outgoing, energetic, different, fresh, and now they kicked out their regular boxing commentators, Al Bernstein and the other professionals, because they're seeing that people want more excitement from the commentary. So now it's like all of a sudden, where was this before? But it's good to see now that there's some kind of movement to get in a younger audience, and I know it's exhibition. But maybe those people watching were like, hey, you know what? I want to see real boxing. And that could be like a stepping stone to creating a fan base, because it's sad to see the state of boxing. It's all about UFC. Wrestling has always been, a little higher than boxing right now because the appeal to younger audience, they know how to adjust, they know how to move forward. And when boxing has been the same old. But I'm a hardcore fan, so I like boxing, but I also understand a different mindset about how to build for the next generation.
Jesus Christ, whoever thought that the Pauls would be asked to save boxing.
Oh,
But real quick, our compa, Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson, had a fight with Brian Maxwell. They were the opening fight. Real quick, I thought that was more entertaining than Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. Ochocinco, I mean, he took a shot. He kind of let his guard down, but hey, he looked pretty good.
yeah, he was a little awkward out there in terms of style and stance,
Yeah.
but he had cardio, he had endurance, and he. The one thing that I got to tell Ochocinco, if we ever see him back on, is like when he got dropped in the final round, like, bro, stay down, recover, take the full 8 count, Ocho. He fell down and he got up right away. He's like, okay, I'm ready. I'm like, let your mind get clear, man. That was a rookie mistake there, Ocho.
Bro,
but
it's like in the Wii. You have to jump up.
hey, but when it's like when you get hit with a low blow, and they say there's actually 5 minutes in the rule book. Take the 5 minutes, man. Recover. And what Ochocinco, he didn't recover, but maybe he knew the fight was almost over because it was in the 4th round, the final round, and he survived. Again, exhibition, no actual winner. I don't think I watched the fight closely to give an actual winner, but I guess because Brian Maxwell got the knockdown, he should be the winner.
And shout out to Compas on the beat because Showtime used that question that you asked him for the promo when you asked him about what his motivation was to get in the ring, and he said, "I'm not a bull rider, but I decided to try that."
Really? I didn't see that.
MLS. Yeah, I heard it. And then he's like, "I'm not a porn star, but I'm just playing." And then you could hear both of us laughing in the background. But yeah, they used that.
Awesome.
That was awesome. So shout out to Compas on the beat right there.
There you go.
I thought it was fun to watch Chad in the ring. You know what I would pay? I would pay to, well, no, actually, no, I wouldn't. I was going to say the 44-year-olds standoff between Mayweather and Ochocinco. See who wins that one. But no, I think Floyd should be done. I think Ocho's done. He said, I can't believe I effing survived in the ring. So that was awesome to watch. But now, Gilbert, we're good with boxing? We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
We're going to transition to something quickly. It was announced over the weekend that WWE SummerSlam is going to happen in Las Vegas the same night as Earl Spence faces Senator Manny Pacquiao, senator for the Philippines. It's an interesting, and for some reason they're making SummerSlam on Saturday night and not Sunday night the way we typically watch it. But Gilbert, how exciting is this for Vegas to have they're double booked for that weekend Was it a mistake for them to double book, or do you think it'll have each thing will have its own excitement that Saturday?
I don't know if it's a mistake because I think wrestling and boxing are very different audiences. Like you could fill out a stadium SummerSlam with with wrestling fans, and you have boxing fans over there. It's kind of like a good friend Adam Hill told us on an episode earlier. I think what was it? Conor McGregor fighting Poirier at T-Mobile Arena, but down the street it's going to be a Garth Brooks country concert at Legion Stadium. They're different audiences. You could do it. The thing about it's just for us who we like both wrestling and boxing, like you want to be at both places. It would have been perfect. It was a Saturday night fight night, the regular thing with Manny Pacquiao, and the next day you're in Vegas still. You get SummerSlam the next day. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But for us, it's not really because the Chargers play, I think the 49ers at SoFi on Sunday. So, hey, you get to watch both on a Saturday night and then work the next day for us. But in terms of time-wise, I'm trying to think in my head. Like, I think these pay-per-views for wrestling start at 5 and at 8:30. A boxing main event, especially for Manny Pacquiao, won't start till 8:30. So it could be perfect timing. You leave it. Say you're at Legion Stadium, get on your phone, go to the bar, watch the fight. Perfect setup. Or even if you probably do both, you could be at a Legion, watch a good portion of SummerSlam, and then run to T-Mobile Arena, where I'm guessing that's where the fight's going to be, T-Mobile, because the Legion got taken, but they haven't announced it. Get there in time for Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence Jr. But overall, it should be a great Saturday for fight night for fight fans on that fight night.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, hey guys, the Compas might be at both places. One Compa might be at one, and the other Compa might be at another one. That's going to be a great Tuesday, Gilbert. That episode of Compas that Tuesday. That's going to be a fun one. What do you think?
Hey, hopefully, if we can make that happen, one Compa at one place, and then we both come back to cover the preseason game. A lot of content, a lot to talk about.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's going to be very exciting. But SummerSlam, I mean, you got to acknowledge him. Did you see what I tweeted at you or no? Did you see who liked it?
I did. I was kind of busy that day. Then I saw the like. I'm like, wait, is that Paul Heyman who liked the tweet? Is that cool? Get him on. Get him on Compas.
Hey, we got to get him on Compas. But that's 2 tweets that he likes of mine where I put acknowledge him. So Gilbert, if you're not there for your tribal chief at SummerSlam, he ain't gonna be happy. He knows who you are, Gilbert. I know he knows who you are.
I think I'd rather go watch Manny Pacquiao than
Ooh, he ain't gonna be happy about that. But SummerSlam is usually kind of the I can't compare it to anything because I mean I don't know what to compare it to, but obviously WrestleMania is the Super Bowl. SummerSlam is like the next big pay-per-view, so it's gonna be a lot of fun to be at that. But that's enough for us. I mean, we covered a lot, Gilbert. We got a lot of this stuff. So now it's time for Gilbert's favorite part of Compas on the Beat, and that's, of course, listening to Dan and Dago read his promos. Then we'll get into our interviews with Omar Ruiz and Tre McKitty. So here's Dan and Dago.
Hi, it's me, Dan and Dago, and I'm here to remind you about Brewery X in Anaheim. But before I do that, I have something to say. I just found out Gilberto wore glasses for the interview with the Chargers tight end, Tre McKitty. Yo, Gilberto! Why are you wearing glasses? Is this some kind of disguise? You can't hide from me because I will find you after Chibo Mania runs wild in training camp. Anyway, go to Brewery X in Anaheim. I don't know what you're waiting for. I keep telling you, that place is amazing with the many drink selections from local beers and hard seltzers. So go to Brewery X in Anaheim ASAP and tell them the Compa sent you. Now let's get to the interviews with NFL Network's Omar Ruiz and Gilbert's one-on-one with Tre McKitty while wearing a face disguise. It's going to take a lot more than glasses and a hat to hide from me, Gilberto.
I am so hyped to introduce this next guest. He's one of our favorite compas, and you can find this Vato Loco on NFL Network. But right now, he's on Compas on the Beat. I am talking about the great Omar Ruiz. Omar, how are you? How did you like being called Vato? Did I sound kind of like Chargers coach Brandon Staley when he talks about Michael Davis?
Orale, yeah, that's that's good, man. No, that cracks me up. When Brandon Staley dropped the Vato that first time, I think it was to you, Gilbert. That had me cracking up for days, man. And every time he talks about him, it's like he says it with more, the better accent every time he says it. And I think by the time the season is done, he's gonna be saying Vato like rolling off his tongue like the
He's gonna say it to us.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, ¿qué pasó, vato?
Hey Omar, every time Brandon says vato, he like emphasizes it. He's like really loud, like vato.
Vato.
And I just start laughing, and I can't help myself. I see myself on the Zoom just cracking up. But
he's gonna start going down to Satanita over there down the street from Costa Mesa.
I feel like he's been practicing in front of the mirror just to say it at a Zoom press conference. But I see you there a lot, Omar, on the Zoom with Chargers, and we got to see you in person this past week at SoFi Stadium for the big feast, the food tasting at SoFi Stadium. Real quick, I just want to get your thoughts on it. Did you have a favorite food from the feast and the spread?
Yeah, I know everybody was talking about the tsunami tots. It's these tater tots that were dressed up with a lot of the similar toppings that you might see on sushi. With the different toppings and sauces and everything. And that was amazing. But I saw Fernando there with the big old burrito, right when I got there. So I had one of those, and I was kind of stuffed the rest of the time. So I took home a lot of the different taste tests. One thing they sent me packing with, it was from the pizza shop, the pizza street. They were all labeled, Fairfax, all the different parts of LA and Southern California. From the pizza vendor, they had chocolate mousse, and I ate that on the way home, and it was some of the best chocolate mousse I've had in a long time. It had the sea salt and the caramel and everything like that. So the food was good. It's stadium food. It was, hot dogs, hamburgers, burritos, nachos, and everything, but it was just dialed up a notch, so it was very tasty. And, I was full the rest of the night. That's for sure.
Same here, Omar. Like, I thought that'd be like a little sample of everything, but you got the full size of everything. So like they had to roll me out of there. I was extremely full, but Omar, now that I think about it, you've covered a lot of NHL hockey in your day. You're the host for a couple of shows at NHL Network. How do NHL teams do it? Do they hook it up like the NFL, big spreads? What's the food like for the NHL landscape?
It's a good question. From what I remember, covering the NHL, it was a pretty good spread. I covered a lot of games in Columbus when I worked there for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I first started covering hockey in NorCal, so I did the San Jose Sharks a lot. And from what I remember, we always ate well. I don't remember specifically it standing out. It is stadium food after all, and it's good stadium food. But yeah, they treated us well. And then when I was working at NHL Network, at the time the studios were based out of Toronto. And let me tell you, if you could ever make it to Toronto for vacation or whatever, it is an awesome, awesome city. They have, so many different, culinary hotspots from places around the world. A lot of kind of like New York, I would compare it to New York or even LA, where there's just people from all over the world living in that city, and they dial it up a notch again with the food scene there. So, maybe not necessarily at the arena or in the studio, but just, as an aside, one of the great eating spots in North America definitely is Toronto.
Omar, before we talk NFL, and obviously I haven't had breakfast at this point, so now I got a little hungry talking about food. You've been around you've been around your hockey experience. You made a lot of stops before NFL Network. You went to San Diego State and Syracuse. You've covered UCLA and Ohio State University. You've done it all. How did those experiences prepare you for NFL Network?
Well, it's you're paying your dues. You know what I mean? It's you kind of grinding away, and sometimes small markets, and not that many people are watching you make mistakes that I would hope to never make now. And and you're just getting better at your craft. You're just constantly working at it, and little by little, day by day. And I've always had a lot of confidence, and so at every step of the way, I was like, man, I'm good. I'm good for this level. I'm ready for the next step. And you always think you're ready, even though you may not be. But it's kind of like the confidence boost that you have to need to sort of swim upstream in this business. And but anyway, I look back now at some of those old reels, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was terrible. And so it's just having the confidence to succeed, but also the humility to know that you still have a long way to improve. And even now, I feel confident in my ability, my skills. Been on national TV, a number of years now, but I still feel like there's a lot to improve in my abilities. So it's kind of that balance of having the confidence to succeed, but the humility to keep getting better.
What's the taco shop right next to San Diego State? Is it Trujillo's?
No, it's what was the name of it? It's changed names now. When I was there, it was Pancho's Tacos.
Oh, okay.
And it's right at the corner of College and Montecito.
He knows Gilbert. He knows exactly where I'm talking about. It's something else now, but like that everybody always tells me about that place, and I went once and I was like, oh my god, this is actually really good.
What is it called now, Gilbert? I mean, Fernando?
I'm gonna have to look it up, but I can't.
It's changed names, but it's legendary.
Yeah,
we would go there, obviously after some fun nights, and and man, we would get down. It's funny, you look back now. Like when you were younger,
it's called Trujillo's.
How much you ate? What is it called?
Trujillo's.
Okay.
Yeah,
but it was good. I haven't been there in a number of years, but that's a legendary spot and a throwback for sure.
Well, yeah, because they didn't close until like 4 a.m. or something like that. They knew that the kids were going to come by, and they waited.
Here's a funny story tying it back to football back in those days. So I forget if it was my junior or senior year, but my cousin lived literally in an apartment right outside of the parking lot there. And that's where we went and watched the Raiders-Patriots tuck rule game. And so we're out there, we're on his patio, you have, outdoor TV and mostly Raider fans and obviously heartbroken by that game. And we went to, Los Panchos. Los Panchos is the name of it. Yeah. So we went to Los Panchos after and drowned our sorrows in a whole plate of, big table full of food with, all the different nachos and burritos and everything we got. So that was one way to cure, some heartbroken Raiders fans over that game. That's for sure.
I feel it. Omar, now you're covering a lot of teams in the NFL. I mean, it feels like you're kind of the West Coast guy. We see you often covering the Chargers. Let's discuss the NFC and the AFC West divisions, and let's start with the NFC West. It seems like the Cardinals went a different route than everybody else. They got veteran, they got J.J. Watt, they got A.J. Green, they got some of these veteran guys. They have DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray. Do you feel like the way that the Cardinals went, do you feel like that can help them against a very tough division?
Yeah, I think it'll help them, but I think it'll also come down. You mention other teams in their division like the Rams, and it's a very similar story really across the NFL landscape. It's how the young unheralded players develop, the guys that are on their rookie contract, not necessarily the first rounders, but maybe the third or fourth rounders that you would expect to fill in right away. Either they're going to be frontline starters like the Rams, end up relying on some of those rookies to play right away because of how they've structured their team. And for the Cardinals, it'll provide depth. I mean, injuries have taken their toll over the last couple of seasons, whether it was Chandler Jones last year or a number of other injuries throughout the course of their, Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray regime. But getting those, I think, veteran players will help them in the locker room. Last year, they were in position most of the year to make the playoffs and then folded a little bit down the stretch. So they feel that, that presence might help with, A.J. Green, J.J. Watt, veterans to the playoffs as well, help get them over the hump. Rodney Hudson, has played a number of games in the playoffs in both his previous stops. But I think they want to play a more physical brand of football. I think, between all the quarterbacks and the high profile offenses in that division, there's a lot of talk about, how pretty, maybe the offenses can be. But I think, the Cardinals want to play a more physical brand of ball and maybe stand out in that division that way.
Yeah, Omar, it seems like every team that NFC West is going after Julio Jones. You see like a hot rumor or a trade rumor about, Julio maybe going to the Cardinals or the Rams or even the Niners and the Seahawks. But I feel like the front runner might be Seattle, but Russell Wilson kind of making a push for getting, better protection. But maybe, it'll be better if he gets Julio Jones and he kind of like, okay, I'm okay now. Do you think if Julio Jones goes to Seattle, are they kind of the legit number one team, or whoever gets Julio Jones in the NFC West, are they the top team in the division?
Yeah, I would say if that's where Julio ends up, then definitely he'll tilt the scales, because I think it's all right around even right now. I think Cardinals are maybe a step below with a lot remaining to be seen, how much gap, again, Kyler Murray can make. Obviously, Rookie of the Year his first year, Pro Bowler last year. So if he truly makes another huge leap, he can be ultimately a difference maker. But I think those other rosters with the 49ers just a couple of years removed from the Super Bowl, and getting everybody back healthy this year, obviously will be key. And then the Seahawks, Rams kind of been knocking on the door the last couple of years. So I think a presence like Julio Jones, specifically to your question about the Seahawks, given that they already have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, the mismatch problems that would create, especially with Shane Waldron there, the new offensive coordinator coming up from the Rams. They get back to running the football, a little more balanced attack. And then you have those trio of receivers with Russell Wilson. I would probably put them not only the favorites in the NFC West, but perhaps in the entire NFC.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And that is a scary thought to think about DK and Julio on the same team, Omar. But let's shift over to the AFC West, and I'll keep this one simple. Can the Raiders, Chargers, and Broncos beat the Kansas City Chiefs? Because it seems like every year the Chiefs are winning that division with Patrick Mahomes. But do you think maybe the gap is a little closer, a little tighter now, or maybe it's a legit race in the AFC West?
I don't know. The gap is closer. I don't know if that makes it a more legit race. I think the story for the Chargers will be simple. They stay healthy. I think they can contend. I think they have that kind of talent on their roster. I think with the Broncos and Raiders, it's kind of like what I said to start with, the development. Do we see the development of some of those players that we don't know about right now make that leap this season? I think for the Chargers, that talent is there. It's, can they stay healthy? The Chiefs obviously reloaded on offensive line. I think it's funny. A lot of people think, the Buccaneers discovered the way to beat the Chiefs and they found this blueprint. I was like, they didn't find the blueprint. It's the same story in football. You attack the quarterback from the edge, obviously you're going to have a lot of success. It's just nobody could really do it when they had Pro Bowl tackles there, Schwartz and Fisher. Those guys were hurt then. They reloaded their offensive line and really attacked it, bringing in Orlando Brown and obviously some of the other couple moves they made in the offseason to protect Patrick Mahomes. So now that they've shored that up, I think, the Chiefs will be just as scary as they've always been, if not even more so, now that they had some of their weaknesses exposed and forced them to address that. But I think if anybody has closed that gap, it's the Chargers. But like you guys know, it's really been the story of their seasons the last few years. If they can stay healthy, they'll be right there. They showed it at the 2018 season, how dangerous they can be. But if they get snake bitten again, then, they can fall pretty far behind.
Yep, I definitely agree with that, Omar. I mean, we've been around the team for a while, so we understand how that goes. Before we let you go, Omar, I've always looked up to you because of the fact that you're a father who has 3 daughters. What does it mean to you? I mean, and Kobe was kind of the guy, like Kobe Bryant, the late great Kobe Bryant was the one that started the whole girl dad thing. What has it meant for you to be a girl dad?
Well, it's been awesome. I mean, it's, the greatest thrill of my life, to be these girls' dads, and they're such great girls. And I think the thing that I always raise when people ask me is they always say, do you wish you had a boy? You're going to go for a boy and all this. And I think, similar to Kobe is that I sort of treat my daughters, or I don't necessarily think about them sort of being daughters versus sons. I just sort of treat them like I would raise them, like I would, if they're sons. We go play baseball in the backyard, we shoot hoops, we do all that sort of stuff. Now, every now and again, they'll say, "Hey, Dad, can we take a break and go play with the Barbies?" That's probably something different, unique to girls. But otherwise, yeah, it's they're great kids, they're smart. My wife has a lot to do with that. So mostly, I should say. But as she walks into the room, but yeah, it's a lot of fun being that girl dad, and I just can't wait to see what kind of women they become, and hopefully we're kind of creating leaders for their generation, and I can't wait for them to start playing organized sports and see what they cling to or gravitate towards, and it's been a lot of fun so far, and I think we're only just beginning. As they get into like I said, formal activities and, dance or, gymnastics or whatever they decide to do. I can't wait for that too. Next chapter.
Gilbert, when he said organized sports, I saw that smile on his face. He can't wait for them to start playing sports.
And
Coach Omar, El Jefe. Got my hat already.
And Omar, you're doing it the right way. I saw you took your youngest daughter to a Dodger game for the first time. Not the Padres down south. It's got to be the Dodgers, right?
Bro.
Yeah. I'm a huge Dodger fan. I went to my first game when I was 10 months. I was born in downtown LA, lived in Oxnard where my dad's from till I was 10. And we moved to Sacramento when I was 10, and by that time, the Dodgers were just coming off that 1988 World Series, and like I said, I'd been going to Dodger games since before I was 1, and sort of my loyalty was already cemented, and I knew very well about the Dodgers Giants rivalry, and then moving to NorCal and then living in San Diego for my years at San Diego State, learned about the Dodgers Padres rivalry, which is as strong as ever right now. But yeah, the whole NFC West, being a Dodger fan, it's pretty fun. And my in-laws live in Arizona. They give me crap about the Diamondbacks. I got friends that live in Denver, and Rockies really haven't been much, but when they have had a good team, you get crap. It's like the Dodgers are magnets for all the other NFC West teams to or NL West teams to be haters on the Dodgers. But raising my girls right, Fernando.
No, I know. And I mean, I'm from San Diego, so I have to give Gilbert crap. I tell him, I'm like, bro, us Fernandos, we do stuff differently. And that kid, that El Nino, is just fire. He's getting fired up. He loves playing the Dodgers, though.
Yeah,
he loves playing against the Dodgers.
It's well, if you guys remember that playoff series last year, if they were to meet in the playoffs again, in a 7-game series, hopefully this time, that's going to be fireworks, and you already see a little bit of the animosity there, not as much as maybe the Astros right now, but I think if the Dodgers and Padres kind of keep it up, this can be one of those explosive rivalries that we see for a long time. No,
definitely, and it feels like that's where it's headed. It feels like that's the ultimate clash is headed for NLCS, Padres and Dodgers, which would just be fireworks all around. But Omar, we appreciate you coming on. You bring the fireworks to NFL Network. I got to ask you one quick question. Yeah. When you first got to NFL Network, I know once you get up there, you have to have a story where something freezes you up, or do you have one of those from right when you got to NFL Network, or no?
No, not really. I think I was so focused on kind of like proving myself that, you kind of get locked in all the time. A story of me freezing or whatever. Literally last year in Green Bay, it was for the Packers and Seahawks playoff game. So it's early January. We were broadcasting. There was a Sunday game, so we were out there on Saturday as well, for the Good Morning Football show and the game day mornings. We're out there for like 7 hours, and it's, -7 wind chill. And I'm doing the best I can. I'm layered up, got my parka, got my beanie and everything. And I'm doing my report. And it was the first time, it's funny you mentioned that, first time since I've been at NFL Network where my mind went blank. Like I just forgot what I was saying. And like, it took me a couple beats, and I think I just threw to whoever I had to throw to, but it's literally my brain froze. And I regrouped, got some more coffee or whatever. And when I watched it back, it wasn't as bad as it felt when I was performing it. But that was a case where my brain literally froze, and it was like a holy crap type of moment.
Us Compas don't do well in the cold. Gilbert avoids the cold at all points. He doesn't like it. I know.
Yeah.
Mexico is all hot.
And the irony is, my first job in TV was in Syracuse, and I was primarily a morning news reporter for the NBC station there while I was finishing up at Syracuse. And
at 4 a.m.
And so I was out there. It was like -30 wind chill out there in front of the bus stop. The guy that was saying, "Listen, parents, don't have your kids go to the bus stop." Meanwhile, I'm freezing, and you're like you're in the TV truck, with the heater until like 30 seconds before you have to be on, because, you expose yourself, to any more than a few minutes there. So that was definitely training that I know I could do it, but obviously being out at Lambeau Field for like 7 hours in that negative, it took its toll that one time. And, I paid the price that one live shot there.
Well, I'd pay to watch Gilbert out there in that wind chill, just because I know I don't think he could handle it. Could you, Gilbert?
No, I'm about the loco, but I'm not that crazy.
Omar, we definitely appreciate you jumping on with the Compas. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, I'm Omar D. Ruiz on Twitter, Instagram. What else am I on there?
Are you on TikTok?
No, but I see Gilbert putting his TikToks out there, and he's going to inspire me.
Get on it. Tom Brady got on it.
Yeah, that's what I saw. This whole thing. So yeah, I've seen Gilbert do a couple TikToks now, football related. So maybe that's going to be my 2021 goal. So yeah, keep inspiring Gilbert, the older generation.
Yeah, follow me, Omar. When you get on there, make sure to follow me first, okay?
All right, that
Bro,
sounds good,
give
man.
him your handle. You can't just tell him follow me.
Gil.sportsbeats. I was gonna say .com at TikTok.
There you go.
Appreciate it, Omar. Thank you so much. Guys, we got some more stuff coming up. Don't go anywhere.
All right, now joining the show, Compas on the beat, tight end for the Chargers, Tre McKitty. Tre, let's start with OTAs. How's that been for you? You know, being a rookie, it must be kind of a transition, or has it been a smooth transition for you so far?
It's going smooth so far. Definitely a transition, but it's been, like I said, it's been smooth. Not too crazy. You know, just trying to get better every day.
Is there kind of something that's kind of been hard for you to kind of adjust to the NFL lifestyle? Is it, so overall, it's been okay?
For the most part, it's been okay so far. You know, I haven't hit too many roadblocks so far, but you know, just continue moving forward.
How about with the coaching staff? What are they kind of preaching the most, especially tight ends coach Kevin Koger?
Really just you know, getting used to his terminology, you know, the way he teaches his technique and things like that. I think that's probably the biggest thing. You know, having so many different coaches, you just have to get used to, you know, this coach's terminology. So really just working on that right now. Okay.
Are you leaning on the veterans like Jared Cook?
Yeah, trying my best to, you know, trying to pick his brain as much as I can. You know, I'm gonna be doing that all year.
Yeah, I don't know if Jared Cook's been around for every practice, but I saw him a couple of times out there. Is there something he kind of just harps on, like, you know, for the NFL lifestyle?
Like something specific he talks about?
Yeah.
Not too much. We haven't talked too much about that. I'm sure we'll talk about more things as we continue to move forward.
Yeah, when I'm out there, Tre, I noticed it's kind of like a split field. You know, usually the veterans are caught on the left side and the rookies are on the right side. Do you ever kind of find yourself looking at that other field and thinking you're going to get there one day soon?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Of course. You know, focus on my job, but I know, you know, I'm just coming in as a rookie. So, you know, I'll be there for sure.
And Tre, you know, I was talking to Nas Adderley yesterday, and he was bringing up about a game or a trivia game the defense likes to play. Does the offense take part in that, or is there any type of games to kind of like, you know, learn playbooks or just learn any type of Chargers trivia?
No, I mean, the only games that we've been a part of so far is we have a little basketball hoop in the locker room. So, you know, there's a lot of bets and games going on with that, but that's about it.
Is that still in the far, like, right in the corner of the locker room and near the exit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, it's been a minute since I've been in the locker room because of COVID, so I was still wondering about that. Are you doing okay in the challenge there with the?
Yeah, I've been doing good so far. I'm keeping my bet small. You know, I'm still a rookie.
Exactly, Tre. I guess, you know, it's been a few weeks, or I guess even a month since you got drafted by the Chargers in the third round. Have you kind of had a second to kind of stop and think how crazy it's been and how fast life has been moving for you?
No, not really, to be honest. It kind of hits me in spurts. You know, sometimes I'll sit down and realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm here. But, you know, most of the time I'm just, you know, I'm kind of like focused right now. So, yeah, it hits me in spurts.
Taking back to that draft process, were you surprised that the Chargers called? Did you have a lot of connections with them or talking to them leading up to the draft? And were you kind of a little surprised that they came in the third round for you?
I wasn't surprised about the third round. I was surprised about the Chargers for sure, though. I really wasn't expecting to come out here. So, you know, it was a good surprise, though. I think it's a great fit for me, and I'm super excited to be here.
Why do you say surprise? Was it kind of like it was a lack of communication in the process?
I mean, we talked a few times, but just not as much as I talked to other teams. So I just, you know, didn't think that it would be them. But, you know, I'm here now, and I'm happy for it.
What did they tell you when they first spoke to you? Like, you know, we like this about you, and we want you to do this. Anything that kind of just stood out to you about the plans for you?
Really, well, on the phone, Coach David was talking about how he was, you know, recruiting a lot of defensive guys, and, you know, I kept on popping up on the screen, and that's how he kind of took note of me. So, yeah, that was pretty cool.
Was that from film from both Florida State and Georgia? You were popping up in?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not sure which film he was watching.
So, yeah, I'm just kind of wondering about that transition from Florida State to Georgia. That 1 year, was it everything you kind of wanted? I know on the stat sheet it didn't really kind of pan out, but overall, was it worth it to kind of go to Georgia for a year? And it seems like it did because you got drafted in the third round.
Right. Yeah, I would say so. You know, I don't like to, you know, live with, you know, regrets of any decisions. Of course, the targets wasn't there like how I wanted it to be this year, but I grew as a person, I grew as a blocker as well. That's also one of the reasons why I went to go to Georgia, is to improve my blocking ability. So I think I did that, and it helped me. So, like you said, I'm here today, so I'm happy.
Is that how you see yourself kind of get on the field early, is with the blocking, and then eventually you kind of prove it with the passing game?
I think a little bit of both. I'm an all-around guy. Coming into college, I was always that pass first tight end, and I kind of wanted to mold the whole part of my game to become a better blocker and a complete tight end. And I think that's what I am now, and that's what's going to get me on the field and be able to do both.
I know it's still very early, it's still May, but have you gotten a lot of work with the special teams coach Darius Swinton? You think that could be something for you in the future as well?
Yes, sir, I have, and that's definitely going to be something I'm going to be doing. So,
how's it working with him? Because when I talk to him, he's very outgoing. He has a lot of I guess ways to kind of keep you guys in focus. And there's like games, I think even betting. So how's that been with Darius from your point of view?
It's been cool. He's a great guy. Definitely great attitude. It makes going to special teams meetings fun.
Okay. And Tre, I remember when we were speaking after you got drafted, you mentioned that you're very close with Gabe Neighbors. How's that been kind of reuniting with him?
It's been good, and our lockers are right next to each other too. So that's been cool too.
Is that just because I know he's a fullback, but he also kind of plays some tight end? Was that just a coincidence, or because you guys are friends?
Yeah, I guess it was just a coincidence. It just worked out that way.
Okay. Have you been to his house? I know he's roommates with Justin Herbert, and I know they like to cook the victory brisket. Have you tried that yet at all?
I haven't had the brisket, but yeah, I had to go to Gabe's house a few times. I'm still in the hotel, so I need a place to go wash my clothes at.
Okay. Have you looked at a place to live in yet, or is that?
Yeah, I'm looking at plenty of places. It's you're trying to narrow down a decision.
Okay. And Tre, real quick, going back to football, just kind of playing with Justin Herbert. I don't know if you had too much time to be on that main field with Herbert, but if you have, how's that been kind of playing with Herbert?
Yeah, well, we were doing a lot of 7-7 prior to OTAs, so he's a baller, and I can't wait to continue that relationship and chemistry.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's even allowed to throw or even kind of throw far in OTAs, but have you kind of marvel at his arm strength, or have you gotten an opportunity to see that?
Yeah, like I said, like we kind of threw it in 7-on-7, and before we started, so yeah, definitely seen his arm, watched film on him from last year, so like I said, he's a baller. He's gonna be great. Okay, well, last thing, Tre, is there anything you kind of want to experience in Los Angeles your rookie year, or anything you already have, or just kind of you don't have time for it right now? Like as far as like the city, like something I want to do?
Yeah, when you moved out here or something, like you got to do this, you got to do that.
Well, definitely, he's not in LA, but I definitely want to go visit Napa. I'm a big wine guy, so definitely want to go to a few spots. Okay, well, I don't know much about wine, but do you have a favorite type of wine you like? Malbec. Got it. Malbec. Okay, yeah, perfect. Malbec, yeah. Okay. Tre, I know you're busy, but I appreciate you jumping on for a little bit and letting me get to know you on the podcast. Appreciate it, Tre.
I'm back, and I just poured myself some Garrison Brothers bourbon for una más, the final segment of Compas on the Beat. Actually, I've been pouring myself lots of Garrison bourbon because my brother Fernando just celebrated his birthday and earned his master's degree. So go get yourself some Garrison bourbon for your next celebratory event. 4th of July is around the corner. Drink for Uncle Sam in America to celebrate correctly with some Garrison Brothers bourbon. Now let's get to una más. Oh, wait. I forgot to give Gilberto una más reminder that Timothy Tebow will be haunting your dreams when Urban Meyer keeps him on the active roster and just terrorizes the NFL. Ooh, that smells great. Dan and Dago out, everybody.
All right, Fernando, let me start this Uno Mas segment because we're going to talk about you for a few minutes, not that guy, Danny and Diego, and his weird promos. But I always lose my focus. But anyway, it's about you. Uno Mas is about you, my man. And it's been more than a week since you had your big birthday bash. I think it was for your graduation, your master's, and your birthday. It was a combo party. I like that. So when you have a combo party, you being you like to go big. And I felt like your birthday combo graduation party / whatever felt like a carnival, a festival, because you had everything. All you were missing was the rides, my man. So before we leave, can we discuss your party? Because I love the food, the mariachi, the environment, the setup. Man, how did you kind of plan all these things? And let us know a little bit about your party.
Dude, it's my mom. I mean, my mom is just awesome. She really does go above and beyond. And she was like, "Hey, I kind of want to do." That's what her theme was. Like, she wanted to do kind of like a carnival thing. So that's why, like, when I had my bachelor's graduation, everybody came in like ties and coats and sports coats and everything. But she was like, "For this one, I want to make it more fun. Like, people just come in. It's more of like a relaxed thing." So she wanted a carnival theme to it. And really, like, the churro guy was over here, taco guy or the tortas guy was over here, toasty bar was over here, and then the regular bar was over here. Where my mom, obviously, when we were shopping for the alcohol, she said, "Hey, I gotta get Gilbert some oh my god, I just forgot the name, some
Modelos.
Modelo. Yeah, I have to get him some Modelo." And I just started laughing. But really, I mean, it was awesome. Dan and Dago, my brother Daniel, surprised me with the mariachi. I wasn't expecting that, so it was just really one of those things where there were some surprises. Like, some of the guests that came, I was like, "Oh wow, okay, cool." Like, it was just a lot of fun. Gilbert's TikTok, obviously, I think it did pretty well, didn't it, Gilbert?
Yeah, I'm gonna plug myself. Follow my TikTok, gil.sportsbeats, because I post fire content there, and one of them was Fernando's birthday party. When I saw they had micheladas, tostilocos, tortas, every type of food you could think of, aguas, Jamaica,
Bro,
horchata,
TikTok
churros,
says it's Micheladas.
micheladas, yeah, tortas. And but I was like, I gotta TikTok this. There's a lot here. I could go viral with this. I didn't go viral, but it had a good amount of views, and I had fun, bro. I was like a kid there. And I went down with Jeff Miller, Chargers reporter for LA Times, and Joe Reedy from the AP,
Uncle
who
Joe.
covers everything, fan of the show, big time supporter. We went down, and
What
those
was
guys,
that car ride like?
well, first of all, we kind of hated you half the time because there was traffic on the way there. Like, damn, Fernando, like, why are you making us come down here on a 3-day weekend, a Memorial Day weekend? And then we got there, out, dude, I was starving. Like, I
He
didn't
told me, Gilbert walks in, he's like, "Dude, I'm starving." I'm like, "Go hit the door." I think you ate like two. Jeff had like two or
Yeah.
three. I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, so as soon as I got out the car, I went straight to the tortas, and I couldn't even sit down and take a bite in front of the guy. I'm like, "Bro, this is good," and then I had to get my energy up. But it was funny because we went with Jeff and Joe, and they are white men, so they don't know much about the Mexican culture. And I was like just pigging out, and they're like looking at me like, "What is that? What is that? What is that?" I'm like, "Try it, try it." And I think they tried everything, and they loved it as well. But I was like, just like getting a michelada, I was going crazy, and then like they're probably looking at me like I was going nuts. Like, what's wrong with Gilbert? Uh, but overall, it was good company with Jeff and Joe. Seeing you and your brother. When your brother's around me, he's not Dan and Dago. He's a regular guy sometimes.
Can I tell it?
Sure, if we have
Okay,
time, go ahead.
real quick, we were sitting at a table. It was the four of us, and in one of those, I go, "What do you mean Justin Herbert is gonna get sacked 60 times?" And Daniel listens, turns around, and goes, "What is coming out of that mouth, Gilberto?" And he like starts fighting with Gilbert. In one of those, Joe Reedy goes, "What do you mean that Justin Herbert is going to throw 30 interceptions?" And Daniel takes off his glasses and goes, "What are you saying?" And then I just started dying of laughter. Like, this is honestly, like, this rivalry is so much fun to see. But no, it was a lot of fun. It was great talking to you guys. We kind of relaxed. I mean, we didn't talk Chargers all that. Like, all we talked about was just having fun, all this stuff about Jeff was telling us, "Hey, you guys need to travel more, have fun, like, relax." And I'm like, I started seeing kind of what Jeff was saying, because he's like, "You guys are young guys. I know you guys want to take the NFL by storm, but it's cool to relax, take a vacation." So it was a great time. I mean, with Reedy and everything. Next time you guys gotta let me know when you're cold. My house gets cold. When you guys get cold, just let me know. Don't be heroes. Just let me know. I got a plenty of jackets in the house.
Yeah, no, I went down there without a jacket, and I was freezing, man. But you guys did hook it up with the jackets, the coats. It was a good time, man. I enjoyed myself out there, and you deserve that big party carnival. It was a feast, so well deserved on that point of view. But Fernando, before I let you go, you got me thinking now with birthdays, and my friend Alfonso Verduzco, we've brought him up before. He recently passed away, and he was one of my closest friends. So his birthday is coming up. Well, actually, his birthday is today when we're dropping Compas on the Beat. June 8th is his birthday. So I want to take a quick second to remember my friend Alfonso Verduzco. And if his family is watching, I know it's hard times right now, but things are going to get better. We're always going to remember your son, one of my best friends. So Alfonso Verduzco, big time Chargers fan. I know he's watching over me right now.
Shout out to Alfonso and the Verduzco family. And shout out to you guys, to Gilbert, your friend. Awesome. It's awesome that you have those memories with your friend and everything. So shout out to all that. But for right now, I mean, great episode of Compas. We had a lot of fun doing this. But Gilbert, you know what? It's time. Vámonos.
Finally, pues, ya nos vamos, pues, vámonos.